So in our last Souls episode, we were talking about this dude Kyle and his YouTube channel, and he made this one video. It was like 20 King Gizzard albums in 20 days or something like that. It was a pretty good video. Like, it was pretty funny. But at the end, he he showed his little King Gizzard tier list thing that he made, and it was just like the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So today we are going to right those wrongs. We're going to make an actual good one. Yeah, so I'm just going to do, as of February 2nd, 2023, they have 23 albums. So we're just going to do those albums. We're not going to do any of the other stuff like the bootleg EPs or like the live albums or anything like that. Mostly because I don't even... Jesus, there's like a bunch of shit on this tier list that I haven't even seen before. But we're just going to do the albums because that's pretty much all I know. So let's just jump right into it. 12 Bar Brews is very good. I'd never even like paid attention to this one at all when I first started listening to them. But like last year I went back to this one and it's actually very fire. It's very underrated. If you like King Gizzard and you haven't even gone back to this one in forever, go back to it, re-listen to it. It's so good. It's very like rough and abrasive, but I love it. It's fantastic. It's not up there as being one of their best ones, but like it's very solid. Eyes Like the Sky, probably on that same level. Like, it's very underrated still. I knock it because you can't really listen to any of the songs on their own. You kind of have to enjoy the album in the context of the album, but like it's very good. It's very creative. Like, they're the most Australian people I've ever seen in my life, but they made this like super American, classic Western tale. It's very cool. Float Along, Fill Your Lungs. It's definitely better than 12 Bar Brews, but I'm gonna put it in good for now. I might move it up later, but yeah, this one's just really solid, really good. Head On Pill, fantastic. Let Me Mend the Past, just like some bops. There's some bops on this one. But yeah, nothing too crazy about this one. Oddments is like their first album that's just like a random assortment of songs, but it's definitely their best one, I would say. Vegemite to It's Got Old to Work This Time, like that's a solid 3-track run, and they're just like completely different vibes from each other. Yeah, this one's very solid. This one's super like slept on too. Definitely like go back to this one if you haven't. It's like it's just a random assortment of songs, but there's some good ones on here. The tier list is looking very good so far, I would say. Until now. All right. I'm In Your Mind Fuzz is elite. It's probably my favorite one, I would say. Yeah, it's just awesome. It rocks. It fucks. It's so hard. It has like the beginning has the classic, like, I guess it's like the first time, well, besides Eyes Like the Sky, that like they did something where like every song like flows into each other like back to back to back. So they did that for like the first half of this album, and then the second half has more like slower one-off songs, like, slow jams, and like Satan Speeds Up, and like Am I in Heaven is so good. That's like one of my favorite songs by them. So this one's probably my favorite one. Quarters is going in great. It's not like top tier, but it's like one of my favorites. I have to knock it because like Infinite Rise is like bad in my opinion, and that's like literally a quarter of the album. But The River and God Is in the Rhythm and Lonely Steel Sheet Flyer, those ones are all like very solid, and God Is in the Rhythm is probably my favorite King Gizzard song by them. Yeah, so this album I definitely recommend to people because it's like it's very accessible. It's very fun, little jazzy jams in there. So yeah. Paper Mache Dream Balloon. If you asked me like a couple years ago, this one would probably be in my top 3. But like I've listened to it so much, it's kind of fallen out of favor for me a little bit. It's still like one of their best ones. Very fun, very acoustic. It's going in the great tier. Nonagon Infinity. it's considered like by most people to be their best one. And like in some ways it is, like it's so solid. I remember I used to be like, this one's so overrated, but like it's legitimately one of their best ones. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, and I probably won't put it in elite tier because that one I want to save for like my absolute favorites. But yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I remember I used to be so upset that it's called Nonagon Infinity and that it has 9 songs, but it's their 8th album. It's like, oh, but if you take the 8 and flip it sideways, boom, Nonagon Infinity. Mind blown. But yeah, this one's fire. All right, Flying Microtonal Banana. Nah, this one used to be this one used to be my favorite one for a while. I'm gonna put it in great because like the first couple tracks on this thing are like fine, but like I don't really go back and listen to them that much. But like the second half of the album is like it really picks up steam. Like Nuclear Fusion is so fire. Like it's one of their best songs. And then there's like Billabong Valley. Doom City is fire too. Like it just has some great tracks on here. I'm gonna hold off for putting, I might move it up later, but I'm gonna just put it in the great tier for now. Murder of the Universe is an obvious elite tier album for me. I remember I didn't like it at first when I first heard it, but like it's just so creative. It gives me like goosebumps still when I listen to it. It's just like so chilling. Like the cosmic horror, like just like apocalypse scene and storytelling. It's just like, it's fantastic. It's like Nonagon Infinity mixed with Eyes Like the Sky in some ways. Like it's so cool. It's not for everyone, but like this is one of my favorites. All right, finally we have a mid-tier album in my opinion, which is Sketches of Brunswick East. It's just like, it's fine, but like some of these I had to re-listen to in preparation for this list. So I listened to this one yesterday and it's like, it's fine, but I just had never, like I never go back to this one ever just because it's like, it's not anything special in my opinion, you know. It's fun, like it's a little jazzy, but like it has some fine tracks, but definitely doesn't stand out to me. Similarly, Polygon Dewanaland is also in the mid tier. This is like my one hot take because this is like some people's favorite album by them, but it's just not, it just doesn't do it for me. I know it has like the polyrhythms and like all the music theory bullshit, but like none of that really interests me that much, and this one's kind of just forgettable in a lot of ways. I really like Crumbling Castle, like that one's very fire, and I like that they have this one released to like the public domain so anyone can publish it, which is really cool. But yeah, this one's just like, it's fine. Gumboot Soup is bad. It's very bad. It's not very bad, but like it's below what their standards are for sure. I really like Beginner's Luck. That's one of my favorite songs by them, which is funny because it's on an album that I generally dislike. But yeah, Beginner's Luck is actually fire, but the rest of this album is just very like middle of the road, nothing special. Like I never go back to this one. Fishing for Fishies, I remember I listened to this one a ton when I first started listening to them, but like I had to go back and listen to it yesterday again because like I hadn't gone back to this one in forever. I think it's good. Like it's fine. It's definitely better than the ones I put below it, but I don't know, actually. I might move this one down to mid because I just like I don't know. I'll just leave it there and maybe I'll move it down at the end, whatever. I don't really have anything to say about this one. It's kind of just like average. Yeah, I'm putting this one down here. Infest the Rat's Nest. It's great. It's fantastic. It's super fun, like heavy hitting, you know, their thrash metal experimentation. It's super good. Like definitely one of my favorites. I go back to this one often, like at the gym, just like. I remember I saw them live last October and they came out to Gaia off Omnium Gatherum and then straight into Self-Immolate off Infest the Rat's Nest, and it was just like, I was headbanging so hard that like I almost passed out. Like I got super lightheaded, and I was like, if the whole show is like this, I'm not gonna make it. Like I'm just gonna go crazy. But yeah, like Self-Immolate is fire. All the songs on here are fire. This one's like seriously one of my favorites. Yeah, it's like teetering on elite for me, but I'm just gonna leave it in great. KG and LW I'm gonna put together, and they're firmly in the good category. Yeah, it's kind of just like two parts of the same vibe going on here. Definitely some really solid tracks on here. I really like Straws in the Wind and If Not Now Then When. Very good tracks. And I have on the one music video, I have one of the top comments, which I'm very proud of. Yeah, so these are solid. These are definitely very solid. Butterfly 3000, I'll put it in great. This one's very fun. This was like the soundtrack to the summer in summer 2021, when like everyone was getting like their vaccines and like things were going back to normal, and like no one had COVID anymore, like before it had the whole resurgence and everything. Like the vibes were just like on point, you know. I graduated college, like just a great time. And yeah, this is kind of the soundtrack to that era. So I really like this one. And like nostalgia aside, like this one's just fire in general. Made in Timeland is like pretty dog shit. Probably their worst one. This one's like, I didn't even know it existed before they put it on Spotify a couple months ago, and it had come out like 6 months before that or something like that. It's just bad. Like they made it. I didn't know anything about it. So I read the Wikipedia page, and apparently they made it like the purpose of this album was to play songs, like to play it in between a little intermission during their 3-hour marathon sets. So it's like literally the background music for when they're taking like a water break. And yeah, it definitely shows. Like this one is not good. I'm not really into like the techno vibes here. It's just not my thing. Omnium Gatherum is also pretty bad. Like I was so upset, and I talked about this in my album of the year video. Like they teased this one with the Dripping Tap and Magenta Mountain, which are like such good tracks. Like Magenta Mountain is probably top 5 for me, honestly, but the rest of this album kind of just sucks. It's on the same level as Gumboot Soup. Like it's just a collection of random tracks, and it's just like not cohesive. Like the stuff where they're rapping, like Ambrose is rapping on a couple songs in here, and it's just like, what in the hell are they doing? Like, it's just not my favorite. But speaking of my album of the year video, you already know where this one's going. Bam! Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, Lava. I think I got the whole name off the top of my head now. But yeah, this one's like so good. Definitely upper echelon for me. It's just so solid. Like Iron Lung, one of their best songs. Magma, one of their best songs. Mycelium, super fun. Lava, I love. Hell's Itch. Like I love every song on this thing. Like it's just so good. If you want to hear me talk about this one more, go check out my album of the year video after this one. I talk a lot about this one. Laminated Denim. I think I'll put this one in good. Like this was one I listened to it when it dropped, and then I didn't listen to it again until yesterday. It's good. Like it's definitely like the follow-up to Made in Timeland. They kind of like refined the sound a little bit. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say they refined the sound. It's like a completely different sound, but it's like what you would expect from them, which is good. Like that's what I want, honestly. Like I was not into the techno stuff on Made in Timeland, but Laminated Denim's good. It sounds fun. Like I've only listened to it twice, but like it's good. I might move it down to mid actually, just because I'll leave it there. That looks good there. And then Changes, another one that I listened to for the second time yesterday. I'm gonna put it in mid. Like nothing on here really stood out to me. It's kind of just average, in my opinion. I think this one is subject to change. Subject to changes, if you will. just because I haven't listened to it at all. So maybe if I revisit it more, it'll move up. I think I'm going to just leave it in mid for now. Yeah. I'm just looking over this to make sure nothing is like egregiously wrong here. You know what? I think I'm going to bump up Fishing for Fishies. No, I'm leaving Laminated down there. I listened to it for the second time yesterday, and it's like, it was fun. Like, I liked it. I've obviously haven't spent that much time with it, but I think it's probably in the good tier, you know? I remember after the live show, like, I saw someone with they had gotten the Laminated Denim vinyl, and like, the covering to it was like denim. It was like a denim case. It was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I'm going to leave Flying Microtonal Banana in the great. I'm not going to bump it up. Because these ones are like my absolute favorites. And this one's like kind of below a little bit now. But it definitely fits in with the rest of these ones. Yeah. So there you go. For Kyle's video, he was listening to all the albums for the first time, I'm pretty sure. So it's like, if I had to do that, like this list would look completely different. So this is my list. And if you disagree with this, you're basically stupid and wrong. Bye.